Hello everyone, welcome to Mifratech. So today in this section I'm going to explain you a placement prediction project. So here in this project mainly we are going to predict whether the student will be get placed or not based on different academic score, communication score, verbal score, based on programming score and aptitude score. Based on all those things we are going to predict whether the student will be get placed or not using different kind of machine learning techniques and algorithm. So how to run the project and what is the exact algorithms we used, all those backend code, output, all those things I've explained in the previous section. So in this section I'm going to explain you how to like what is the exact front end code we have used in this project, like what is the Python front end code we have written, what are the HTML code we written for the web pages. All those things I'm going to explain in detail in this section. So first I will go to the project folder, which and all the things related to front end code I will explain now. So first is static folder. So here inside this, in the front end web pages, an background image will be added, so that image should be kept inside the static folder. Next we have templates. So inside this template folder, different HTML code for different web pages, that is registration page web HTML code, login page HTML code, index one is the prediction page HTML code, and the same image which will be kept in the static folder, the same should be kept in template folder also. So these two will be related to front end code. Then app underscore SQL. So this is the exact front end code written in Python. So this is the Python code. Next is DDBB. This is the SQL file for the database required. So these are related to front end now. So now I will directly explain the app front end Python code. So just open this app underscore edit with IDE. So edit with IDE, edit with 3.6. So it will open the front end Python code in the 3.6 font rate ideally. So this is the front end code written for this placement prediction project. So here the first step is we have to import different packages required for the project. So before importing, they should be present in your system. So I in the previous section while I explained the back end roots code, or the packages or libraries required both for front end back end, I have explained in the like I have installed in the command prompt. So now I will directly import here. So import numpy as np. Now I'm importing numpy library and storing as alias name np here. So why in the front end code also I'm importing numpy means, so here if I using any mathematical techniques or using end array means that for that purpose I need numpy I'm using. So next is import pandas as pd. So now I'm importing pandas library and storing as alias name pd. Why pandas required means, if we are using any case I'm converting anything into data frame means, any data frame technique I'm using means, for that pandas is required, so I'm importing. So next thing is import PyMySQL, PyMySQL install as MySQL DB and importing MySQL DB. So this PyMySQL, using this PyMySQL, why I'm using this here in the user registration and login, we need to check where user register and username and password we should insert into a database, and we have to fetch the username and password from the database in order to check for the login whether it is successfully installing, like login successfully is there or not. So in order to all these things we have to fetch the data from the database, and in order to insert the data into database, not to all those things, the PyMySQL is going to provide us with different techniques required for that one. So now so only I'm importing them. Next thing, so here in this project, different username and password, all those things I'm going to store now. So in order to store those things we need some empty list. So I'm going to use some empty list, I'm going to create now, later I will use. So password underscore list, password underscore list one, a username list and username list one. So these are the four different empty lists I have created. These things I will use in the later section of the program. So next, from Flask, import Flask request JSON for render template. So here mainly the front end we are writing with the help of Flask only. So all the different techniques from the Flask I'm importing here. So next is here whatever the in the backend code I explained you already, which algorithm, that is logistic regression algorithm gave me more accuracy, I converted into binary format so that I can directly load it in the front end. So now I'm going to load that algorithm. So import joblib. So joblib.load. So the name of the file is placement prediction dot extension pk. So finally I load the algorithm in a single line, I will store in a variable model. So this finally I will use in order to predict the output from the whatever the user entered input from the front end. So next, this Flask is like an app, so we have to initialize this Flask. So how to initialize the Flask means, app is equal to Flask of underscore name underscore. So this is the exact syntax we have to use in order to initialize the Flask here. So next, at app root of slash. So whenever see here first I will run this front end code. So how to run this, click on run module F5. So when you click on run, So what output you will get here when you run the front end code is an HTTP link will be generated. See, you can observe now. See, like this an HTTP is link generated. Now you have to copy starting from this up to 5000, there is a slash. So when you copy this link and go to the default browser where localhost the database has been added, open a new tab, just copy this link and click on enter. See, when you click on enter, the first thing what you will get here, it will directly take you to registration page. A registration page will be opened. So how it is opened directly registration page means, so observe here, when you, after 5000 there is a slash, so after slash where it is going is return render template register.html code, it is rendering nothing, it is loading the registration page HTML code. So only you are directly going to registration page here. So now you are in the registration page. So what and all the different things present in the register HTML code, that I am going to explain now. See here, the registration page HTML code, you can observe there is a background image is there and a register heading is there and it is bolded black color, some font size to all those styling we have to do. And again there is a form where you can enter username, email and password, and in order to submit those things there is a register button is there. Next, in order to go to login page, there is a login hyperlink is there. So just if you click on login, it will take you to login page. So these are the different things present in this HTML code of registration page. So now I will explain this one. So where this code is present in the placement folder, that is placement prediction project folder, go to templates folder. Inside this one, a register. You can see this is the HTML code. So I will directly open in the notepad itself. So like this you have to open. So after opening, I will explain now. See, this is the HTML code for registration page. First, this doc type HTML, HTML dot header are the default tags we have to use in the HTML. Next is style. So if you are doing any kind of style, means all those things should be done inside this style tag. So here background image. So then the image, if you want to change any image, you have to give the image name with the extension here itself. So here it should be present in static as well as template folder. So the name of the image is placement. It is in the extension JPEG here. See here, I told right, the place name of the image is placement and it is in the extension JPEG. So the same thing you have to write here. And finally background should not be repeat, no repeat. Size should be both height and width 100% I'm giving. Background position should be in center and it should cover the whole page. So background size cover. So finally there is a hyperlink, right? It is in a white color, it is centered and it is in red color, that white red background is there and it has some height and width. So for this I have to do the styling. So a link background color, padding 15, this is the height and width padding I'm writing, color should be white, text should be aligned in the center, display in block, inline block. Next color, background color I'm giving red. So this is for the styling of hyperlink. Finally I will close the style tag here. So after closing the style tag, next thing is the placement, whatever the image background image adding, you should add here itself also background image. So once if you replace in at this place whatever the image you add, the image will be added successfully. Next a division class I'm opening. Next there is a heading is there, register. So for this one, h1 is the heading tag, h1 header tag. So the name I'm giving register. For that I'm bolding this one, b tag is nothing but bolding. First style color I'm giving black, font family Verdana, size I'm giving 5 here. So finally font style I'm creating, this is not required. So next here there is a gap between this register and the form. So in order to give that much of gap, I'm using br here. Br is nothing but a line break. So next we have, what we have is a form. So I have to create a form. So form I'm creating. So whatever you enter inside this form, where I can collect all the data means register. So the register method where I can collect all the data. So where is that method is present means inside, when you come here, see here there is a register method. So inside this one only, whatever the data you enter in the registration form, I'm going to collect there. So next, what is there inside this form is input text. So where username you can enter, placeholder is the name, placeholder at the place of placeholder you are writing username. So here whatever you can see username, this name, this is what the placeholder there. So next type is email. So email I'm writing. Next is password. So if you don't type anything, password if you don't give me, by default it will assign the value for the password is fake APSW. So finally br is nothing but just giving the line break between all of them. So finally there is a button here, register button. So the button I will create. So button type is submit button, it should be in center. The name of the button is register. Finally line break, I will close the form. So that much is there in the form there. So once form is over, see here now if you enter some username and see here, now you enter some username and Gmail, and if you enter some password, see here, You can see in the database whatever the username and password, it is already present. These things already registered username password is there. So these username password you can directly copy paste in order to login. So now I'm using the same username which is already there in my register. When I click on register, see this user is already in use. So you are getting some notification that the username is already exists in the database. So you have, if you want to register a new user, means you have to use the same different username. So from where this text is displaying means at the, so in order to display this text, I have to create this one. So where flower based text you can see here, at this place only the text will be replaced. For that, color I am bolding that one, and color black, family Vardhana, size I am giving, finally line break. So from where the text will be replaced means here in the Python code, this username is already in use. In the place of text I am storing the data, so only it is printing there. That is what happening there. Next thing we left with, there is a hyperlink login I have to create. See, href is a hyperlink. So the name of the link I'm giving login here. So that is what there, login. What will happen when you just click on this one, it will take you to login HTML page. So how it is going directly to login page means, so when there is a href, I'm giving slash login. So where this slash login is present means, come down here, see here, when you come down there is a slash, just a minute, see here you can see after slash login where it is taken, directly taken to login.html page. So here slash login means whenever slash login come, it will directly take it to login page HTML code. It will render template, it will load the login page HTML. So only you are going to login page directly. So that is the different thing present in this registration page HTML code. Finally I'm closing every tab, that's it. So now I will close this tab. So we'll go to login page here. So now you can see here, this much is done in the HTML code. So now exactly how it is happening in the Python code, now I will explain how the registration will happen. So I told whatever you enter in the registration page, I will collect in the this register method. So how I am collecting is request.form.value. So this particular function will collect everything you enter in the registration form. So all those things I will collect, I will store in the temporary variable x, I will store it in the string format, so str of c. Finally I will kept everything inside a list, so square braces in list. Finally I will store in a variable int features too, that is my list. So now the first thing you enter here is username, next email, next password. So first is username. So r1 int features of under index 0, our username is there, I will store in r1, I will print r1. Next int features of index 1, email will be there, I will store in r2, I will print r2. Next is password. So int features up to password I will store in r3, I will print. Again log e1, int feature 0, log e1 store log username, email will be stored in email variable, pass w in the index 2 will be stored in pass w. So finally I will store username, password and some other variables. So next I will connect my database. So import mysqldb. Mysqldb connect will help us to connect the database. What and all I am connecting, my local host. See here, this is what the local host I am connecting here. Next, name I'm giving database root, default username, password I'm not giving anything, empty. The name of the database is database here. So this is the name of the database I given in the program. It's the same thing, I created a database here with the same name. So now I will create an object of the database. So if you want to fetch any data from the database means you have to create an object of the this database. So db I stored, right, db.cursor, a cursor method I'm creating and store in the variable cursor. So now I'll execute one SQL query. So cursor.execute a select user from user register. So what this select user from user register means, I'm selecting this user column from this user register in the database. So that is what I'm writing. So after executing, I will fetch all the data from that user column. So cursor.fetch all will fetch all the data present in the in this user column, all the username. I will store it in a variable result1. So finally I am going to fetch all the username one by one. I will store it in some empty list, so which I created earlier itself. In this list I will store. So for row 1 result 1, username list1 dot append, I am storing in the string format. So finally in username list1 all the username will be stored. So now I will check whatever the username just now you enter in the registration page, whether it is already there in the database or not, have to cross check. So if log u, whatever the username you entered, I stored in log u, right, that I'm checking. If log u is in the this username list means it is already present in the date. In case it is present means what I should do means, in the register return under template, render template in the register.html page, I have to print this user is already in use. So that is what you are getting. If the username already present in the registration, like in the database, means when you try to use the same username to register, means you will get this user is already in use message there. So that is done. So in case the username not present, means what it should be done means that username and password should be inserted into this database. So how to insert means, how that will be done means, in the else part, SQL insert into user register, what and all the things you should enter into, insert into user register means user, email, password, all are in percentages, is nothing but string values, where those data is present means in R2, R1, R2, R3 are initially stored, right? Those things I'm emptying. Finally I will have to execute this SQL query. So in the try block I will execute cursor.execute SQL.values. So db.commit, db.rollback, db.close. Finally insert all these username, email and password into my register in the database. So finally after registering, so I should give user one message, so return redundant update in the registration phase, the user will get successfully registered once the registration is done successfully. So this much is will be done for the registration here. So now I will show you how the registration will work. So now I will enter some the name which is not there in this one. So I will enter some other name. See, I will entering some name here. I will create one password, email. Again, I will create a password here. See, this is the username, email, and password I will enter. So just click on register. See, successfully registered message you are getting. And when you come this page and refresh, the same data will be added to database here. The same username and password, email I just entered. All of things will be like added to my database. So this is how I'm doing the registration here. So once register done, I told when I click on login, it will direct to login page. So now how the login will work, the what is there in the login page HTML, I told whenever slash login will come, login.html code will be loaded. So you are getting the login page. So now I will explain the login page HTML code. Observe here what and all there in the login page HTML code. The same background image which is there in the registration page. Instead of register, now it is login. Here one a form is there where you can enter username and password, only thing there is no email you can enter, and login button is there. So if you enter wrong username password, you will get use proper username and password error message. Otherwise when you enter correctly, it will directly take you to prediction page. So that much is there in the login page HTML code. So go to project folder, open login HTML code, open with a notepad. So this is the login page HTML code. So now doc type, everything is same background image, everything is styling is the same image I told. So here instead of register, now it is login. The color is black, font family Vardhana, size is same. I'm giving the line break, and beam is bolding data, everything is same. Next thing is form, I'm opening the form. So whatever you enter in the login page, where I can, in which method I can collect this data, in logged in method. So where that method means, when you come down here, there is the logged in method. Here I can collect whatever data you enter in the login page. So now inside this form, what is that text, where you will enter the username, one more is password. If you don't enter any password, it will say fake psw as the default value. Finally line break, and there is a submit button. So the name of the button is login. So that much is done. Next thing is, if you try to enter the wrong username and password, you will get a message there. So form is closed. What message you will get, that will be replied the where the text is there, at this place only it is replaced. For that, color block, font family, size I am giving, line break. Finally, now to fit the page correctly, I will giving some line break. Finally I will close this one. So this much is there in the login page HTML code. So from where the use proper username and password you will get here. See here, from this, at the place of text, use proper username will be stored, that will be displayed there. So now I will try to enter username and password, which is like not there in my this one. So I will try to use a wrong username and password. I will click on enter. When I click on login, see here, use proper username and password message you will get when you try to use wrong username and password. So if you enter correct username and password means, see here, now I will enter correct username and password. So click on login. When you click on login, it will direct to take you to prediction page. So this is what happening in login. So how it will happen, I will explain in the Python code. So I will close this HTML code, come to Python code here. See here, first thing I told, whatever you enter in the login page, I will collect in the logged in method. So request.form.values will help us to collect the data. I will store in temporary variable x. I will convert into string format. Finally, stored in the format of a list there. So finally, I will store in int features too. The first thing you enter in this page is username. Next is password. So at the index 0, username is there. I will store in log u. Password will be index 1. I will store in passw. So finally, I will connect my data set database. So import mysqldb. mysqldb connect localhost username password empty database. So finally stored in db, I will create a cursor method db.cursor stored in variable cursor. Now execute a SQL query. So cursor.execute, select user from user register. So I will fetch all the data from the user registration table. I will store in result 1, and finally I will add it to one empty list, that is username list. I will add all the username will be available inside this list. So now I want password also for the login, so I will fetch the password data. So I will create one more cursor method. So db.cursor, I will store in new variable cursor1, cursor1.execute, select password from user register. What I am doing is I am selecting this password column from my user register. That is what I am doing now. So after getting the data, I will fetch all the data. So cursor1 fetch all will fetch all the data from the password column. I will store in the, I will access one by one using for loop. I will store them in for row 3 in result 2 will fetch all the data one by one. Finally, the password list dot append will help us to add all the password which are there in the password column to my empty list, that is password list. Finally, all password is available in this password list. So here how I will check whether the user is entering the correct username and password for the login means, here you can see in the database, here all the user name password both are available in a single row. It is nothing but in the single index. If it's row, you can call it the index here it is 0 1 2 3 4. You can call it as a fourth row, means it is the fourth index. So in the list all of them stored in the index value. So at the 0th index means user register in the user list, Kiran will be at index 0, password Kiran123 also at the index 0. So if I just match the index values, I am going to get whether the username is properly entered or not. So that is what the technique I will use now. So if user list, from this username list dot index, for each value index I want means whatever the username just now enter in the login page, that username I stored in log u, right? For that I am passing here. So for that index value, if that equal to password list, whatever password you just enter in the login page, that index value, if both are matching means the user should go to prediction page. So render return template, return render template index1.html is my prediction page HTML code. It will directly load. See here when you click on enter, sorry, so when you correctly enter username and password, click on login, it will directly take you to placement prediction page. So you are going there to the prediction page directly. That is what I have written here. In case you are using wrong username and password, you will get the login page use proper username and password. So that message also I shown you earlier. So this is how the login will work. So next, how next we I will explain this placement prediction HTML code. See here what is there inside this code means the same image. Instead of here heading is placement prediction, and there is a form where you can enter 8 different values, and in order to submit that one, predict button is there. Again there is one more changes. There is one more extra thing is SLC percentage colon. Whatever you seeing this data, we'll call it as label. So I have to create a label here. So that much is there. Finally, after submitting all kind of data, see here, after giving all the data, what you will get here, when you click on predict, you are getting the output. The student will be placed, he or she needs to improve their skill. So in order to print this much data, I have to create one more data, like a text, a flower basis in the HTML code. So that much is there in this HTML code. I will explain that one. So here in the template for index 1 is the placement, like prediction page HTML code. Open it in notepad. See here, this tag is same, background image is same. Only extra thing is we have to style the label. So label, after every label I'm adding a colon here. That is what the meaning of this one. See here, colon will be added automatically after every label. Next, the label color is black. Font will be all both sides. Display in black. Width of every font I'm giving 150 is nothing but width is nothing but total space it is taking, all these things. So 150 I'm giving, and a text align should be center. Finally, my entire form submit button I should want in the center, and width I'm changing here 70 pixel. Text align should be right. What will make it as a text align? Will make it as center, and margin I'm giving 0. So this for the styling of the form I did. So next thing is I close the style tag, the same image, heading H1 I'm giving placement prediction, color black, family, size, everything is same. Next, finally I will open the form. So inside the form, whatever you enter these data, where I can, in which method I can collect in this form is the predict method. So where that predict method is present, means come to the code. You can see here, there's a predict method here. So here I will collect all the data you will enter in the prediction page. So finally, that what and all is there, label for SLC percentage and input type text I'm creating. So SLC percentage PU, or for all of them a label I created and input text I have created. So finally all 8 input I have taken a form, the name submit button, the name of the button is predict. So betting that should be centered, so I'm giving here center, the submit button I'm making it is center aligning. So finally I will close the form. So finally whatever the output you are getting here, so in order to print this one, a text I have to create. So prediction text, so at the place of this prediction text will be that output will be replaced. For that color I'm giving black, all are bolding them, font family Vardhana, size 6, PR is nothing but just line break I'm giving. Finally I close all the tags. So this much is there in the prediction page HTML code. So I will close that one. So come to backend code. So from where I'm sending that the place of prediction tag, I'm storing these outputs. So based on performance, student will be placed and student will not be placed. He or she needs to be improved their skills. So this will be placed like replaced at the place of prediction text in the HTML code. So now I will explain how the prediction will occur. So I told, right, whenever the prediction come, it will directly to the index HTML, that is the prediction page. So whatever you enter, I will collect in the predict more like in this user defined function. So request.form.values will collect all the data from this prediction page. I will store in the temporary variable x, I will store in the form of string. Finally it is available inside this list. I will store this list in a variable a. So now I will create one dictionary. After that I will create a data frame. So in that format only I have to give to my trained algorithm. So data is equal to SLC percentage, the name of that whenever the user like dictionary whatever I'm creating, the column name I'm giving as SLC percent. At that place what will be stored means whatever the first value you enter here is SLC percentage. So at the index 0. So whatever I have collected, it is in a string format. I will convert into float. So float of a at the index 0, SLC percent will be there. That will be stored in the format this float. So finally I will store in SLC percentage like that view. So all the data whatever you enter from the front end, I'm going to collect all of them inside this data dictionary. I will convert this dictionary into data frame. So pd.data frame of data is stored in df. So when I print df, so which format this data frame will be look like when you convert the dictionary into data frame is like this format. So in the same format how it is available inside the like in the Excel sheet, right? Or whatever the data frame I loaded in the backend code, like in the place of in the columns SLC percentage, that value, P percentage, that value, like that all the different 8 input values I have collected in the format of a data frame. This data frame I will directly give to my trained algorithm to predict the output. So initially I loaded my algorithm in the variable model, right? So that I will use in order to predict now. So model dot predict, which I am giving this df, that is the data frame input which you enter in the front end, giving as input for this one. Finally predicted output I will store in prediction. I will print my prediction. So when I print the prediction, this is what the output you are getting, that is prediction output is 0 here. So it is in the form of list. So what you can check do means you can convert it directly into integer, or you can directly do that one also. Both will give the same output. So how you can convert this one means, so just like type prediction equal to, so int of prediction. So now it is converted into integer. So if whatever the integer is printed, if it is either 1 or 0, it will print. In case if the predicted output is 1 means I'm going to write in the front end, that is in the index 1 HTML is the front end page, what output I will write in the place of prediction text. Based on performance the student will be placed, this output will be placed if the prediction output is 1. In case it is 0 means the student will not be placed. So I will print the student will not be placed, he or she need to be improve their skill. So this is what the kind of output you will get after the prediction in the web page front end. So finally this flask is like app, you have to run it. So if underscore name is equal to main, app.run debug is equal to false. This is a standard syntax you have to run in order to run this flask. So finally an HTTP link will be generated when you run this code. So this much is there in the front end code of this placement prediction project. So now finally last time I'm going to give some input, different input. I will show you the output now. So we'll enter SLC percentage PU percentage, UG CGPA, and some quant score now, and programming score will enter here, and communication score. So after entering all the data, I will just click on predict. See here, the student output you are getting based on whatever the new data I have entered. The student will not be placed here, needs to be improve their skills. So now I will enter different data. So I will give it here 95. View percentage also I will give 90. UGCGPA will give it as 9. So quant score I will give 17. This one I will give 19. Verbal score will increase now, so I will make it as 17. Programming score also will make 70, and this one will give 20 communication skill. So based on new input whatever I give and click on predict, see here, the based on the performance the student will be placed. So based on this parameter only it will show whether the student will be get placed or not based on different input entered by the user. So this is the final output you will get in placement prediction project. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you.